Lovely. Unos. Player or Planeswalker is what it should say. Good game, and thanks to the Caravan, we're just able to replenish our full hand there to an already oppressive field state, so woof! If you've been enjoying any content on the channel, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. It's a great free way to support me along this journey. We've got everything from free-to-play budget beginner guides, just general Magic the Gathering arena beginner guides talking about the principles and archetypes behind this amazing game, some of the top-ranked standard decks, the best historic decks, great original Brawl decks, and some tools and tips, and then we even have a little bit of limited, so no matter what you're into within Magic the Gathering arena, we have you covered. Subscribe to the channel, join for your chance to win up to 500,000 gems. Make sure to check out our Discord and enjoy this video. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. Today we are playing a little bit of mono red Brawl with Subira, Tulzidi Caravanner. This is a 2/3 with haste. We can pay 1. Another target creature with power 2 or less cannot be blocked this turn. We can also pay 2 plus a tap, discarding our hand, and until the end of turn, whenever a creature you control deals damage with power 2 or less to an opponent, we will draw a card. So this is a great aggro creature. It has haste, 2/3 for 3. Not the greatest stats, but again, with haste, it's always cool after a board wipe to rethrow this down. The ability to make our other small creatures unblockable is absolutely amazing. This is very, very good in Brawl. In Brawl matches, there is a tendency for walls of creatures to build up until it gets to a tipping point for someone where it's just absolutely nuclear. However, with the Caravanner, we can consistently get that small amount of chip damage in and even be rewarded for doing so by drawing cards. So that's a lot of fun. As always, we're going to talk about the deck list in its entirety. What does each individual card do? Then we're talking about the strategies and synergies involved within the deck. How do all of those individual cards come together to form a well-working archetype, right? Very coherent fusion of all the cards through the strategies and synergies within Brawl, because you can't stay super consistent because it is singleton, so you need to make sure that you're getting a little bit of everything that still fits together to form that archetype that we're going to talk about here. So this is a mono red aggro deck, and we will be witnessing as well some gameplay footage where I'll break down all of the play lines and interactions within the Core Set 2021 Brawl meta. So that should be fun, because it's not really enough to know just how your deck operates and works together. You're going to need to know how it operates against the rest of the decks that you're going to encounter within the meta. So that's a really important part. Finally, we have my closing thoughts, any propaganda, thoughts on the channel, plans for the future, plans for the future, and all that jazz, right? So if you find any value within this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share the channel out to a friend, right? It's a great free way to support the channel. We talked about the Caravanner. Let's get into the actual deck list. We have Blazing Volley, sorcery speed, dealing 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls. Fervent Champion, a 1/1 with first strike and haste. Whenever it attacks another target attacking knight you control, gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Equip abilities that you activate that target Fervent Champion cost 3 less to activate. Goblin Arsonist. This is a 1/1. When it dies, we may have it deal 1 damage to any target. Hardened Reflexes, an instant speed. Target creature gets +1 and a first strike counter on it. So that's always great. Shock, dealing 2 damage to any target at instant speed. Ginger Brute is a 1/1 with haste. We can pay 1. It can't be blocked this turn except by other creatures with haste. And then we can pay 2 plus a tap to sacrifice it and gain 3 life. Stonecoil Serpent is a scaling card. We can cast this for whatever. It's an X cost, right? So it can come in for 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want. It's a 0/0 with reach and trample. Protection from multicolored, which is absolutely amazing. And then Stonecoil Serpent enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Perseros Intervention, sorcery speed, choose 1, create an X1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Perseros Intervention deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. Starting out with our 2 drops, Chandra's Magma Mutt, a 2/2 with the ability to tap itself to deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, which is quite nice because we talked about those walls going up in Brawl, and just the ability to tap on his end step to do a little bit of extra chip damage is cool. Chandra's Pyroling, a 1/3, and whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, the Pyroling will get +1/+0 and double strike until end of turn, which is very powerful. Fire Prophecy, instant speed, 3 damage to target creature. You may put a card from your hand into the bottom of your library. If you choose to do so, you get to draw a card. Omen of the Forge is instant speed via flash, dealing 2 damage to any target, and we can pay 3 once it's on the battlefield to sacrifice it in order to scry 2. Raking Claws, instant speed, double strike until end of turn, cycling for 2. Robber of the Rich is a 2/2 with reach and haste, and whenever it attacks, if defending player has more cards in hand than you, you will exile the top card of his library. If it is a non-land card, you have access to play it as long as you attack with a rogue that turn, so that's always fun, and you can spend mana as though it were any color as well. Scorching Dragonfire, instant speed, 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If it would die, exile it. Sure Strike, +3/+0, first strike till end of turn, instant speed. Underworld Fires, sorcery speed, 1 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. If it would die, exile it instead. Tome of Legends enters the battlefield with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters or attacks on the battlefield, put a page counter on the tome, right? And then we can pay 1, tap it to remove a counter and draw a card. Starting out our 3 drops, we've got Bolt Hound, a 2/2 with haste, and whenever he attacks, other creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn that we control. Bonecrusher Giant has Stomp tagged to it. This is a 2-drop instant speed. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. The Giant himself is a 4/3, and whenever it becomes the target of a spell, Bonecrusher will deal 2 damage to that spell's controller. Slaying Fire for 3. I guess these are all our 3 drops, right? Instant speed, 3 damage to any target. If we cast 3 mana to spend this spell, we'll deal 4 damage to that target instead, which is, always going to happen. I guess it might not always happen because we do have the banner in deck, so, but that is still red mana, so yeah. Slaying Fire will always deal 4 damage. This guy. Soul Seer, instant speed, dealing 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That permanent loses indestructible until end of turn. Anax Hardened the Forge, a X3 with its power being equal to your devotion to red, and whenever Anax or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 Rage Satyr creature token with this creature cannot block, and if the creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead. Phoenix of Ash, a 2/2 with flying and haste. We can pay 3 to buff it by +2/+0 until end of turn. It has Escape for 4, plus exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard, and it escapes with a +1/+1 counter on it. Crystalline Giant, a 3/3, with at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it from among flying, first strike, death touch, hexproof, lifelink, vigilance, reach, trample, and +1/+1. Put a counter of that kind on the giant, right? Heraldic Banner, this is a artifact entering the battlefield. We choose a color. Creatures of the chosen color get +1/+0, and we can tap it to add a mana of the chosen color. Artifacts don't have summoning sickness, so when you play this for 3, you can immediately tap it for 1. On to our 4 drops. Everquill Phoenix is a 4/4 flying, mutate for 4. Whenever this creature mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with pay 1, sacrifice it to return a Phoenix card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Tectonic Giant, this is a 3/4, and whenever Tectonic Giant attacks or becomes a target of a spell an opponent controls, choose 1. Tectonic Giant deals 3 damage to each opponent. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose 1 of them until end of turn. You may play that card. Torbrand, Thrain of Redfell, a 2/4, and if a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2. Solemn Simulacrum, a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield, and when it dies, we get to draw a card. On to our 5 drops. Chandra, Heart of Fire, a legendary planeswalker coming in with 5 loyalty, +1 ability, discard your hand, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way, and it's actually the top 3 cards of your library, pardon me. +1, Chandra, Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target. -9, search your graveyard and library for any number of red instances and sorcery cards, exile them, and shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn, and we also add 6 red mana sources to our pool. Ox of Agonis, this is a 4/2, and when it enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. It has Escape for 2, plus exiling 8 other cards from your graveyard, so that's quite hefty. And then the Ox escapes with 8 +1/+1 counter on it. We also have Terror of the Peaks, a 5/4 with flying. Spells that your opponent casts that target terror will cost an additional 3 life to cast. And then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. We have Chandra's Incinerator for 6/6 with Trample, costing X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponent this turn. And whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. We also have Embercleave for 6 Flash, costing 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, attaching to target creature you control, and equipped creature gets +1/+1, has double strike and trample. The generic equip cost is 3. These spells are accompanied by 23 mountains and a single Castle Embereth. Woo! There's no sideboard because it is Brawl, so we're not granted access to that. And again, in case you forgot, we are using the Caravanner as our commander. What do you guys think of the deck? Let me know in the comments below. Let's begin to break down some of the deck's strategies and synergies. It is a mono-red aggro deck. You could call it aggro or mid-range. It doesn't have too many small creatures, but it does have enough to make the archetype work. Obviously, the ability to have creatures power 2 or less be unblockable and then draw you cards is what we want to focus on. And normally, this is very attainable. Stonecoil Serpent, Ginger Brute, the Arsonist, Fervent Champion, the Magma, the Pyroling, the Robber of the Rich, right? So we have a few things that really fit that scenario. Bolthound can, but he can also take it away from the other creatures, so keep in mind of that, right? And then Phoenix of Ash as well. So there's a few options for us to get in there, even Solemn Simulacrum and Torbran, but that's going to be later game, and at that point you're just going to be blowing your opponent up. But nonetheless, it is possible if you want to do it that way. So really try to focus on making your creatures be unblockable, getting consistent chip damage in, and that should just grind your opponent down. When you do run out of cards, you can start activating the discard your hand, and then when they deal combat damage, draw a card to replenish your hand. So clog up the field with as many, power 2 or less creatures as possible as your first and primary objective. Secondly, you're into survival/removal phase, where, you're trying to deal with your opponent's threats through your instant speed, first strike shenanigans, right? We've got a couple, like Raking Claws, Sure Strike. Even through our Fervent Champion's first strike, we can use our Scorching Dragonfire and any of the instant speed damage spells to take advantage of his first strike. So you're removing his creatures or his threats from the board while still trying to keep yours in play. That's the second objective that you're going to play or go towards. And after that, you're just trying to play more oppressive creatures than he can and go wider than he can while still balancing his field presence. So, there's lots of things that we can build into. It's not a single strategy deck like a standard situation is. It's Brawl. It's very different to play because you're not going to be using the same play lines over and over and over. So it's good to have a couple top ends. Like we've got our Embercleave, which basically makes any of our creatures lethal. Chandra's Incinerator is amazing. It's a 6/6 with Trample, which should help us get that late game damage in through our opponent's blockers, right? Which also combos with Terror of the Peaks, which has another form of evasion, not trample, but flying, so it can go over top of our opponent's attackers, right? And then, say Chandra's Incinerator hits the battlefield, Terror gets to deal 6 damage to any target. Terror does 6 damage to the opponent, which now triggers Chandra's Incinerator to deal 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So you can see how when creatures enter the battlefield on top of Terror, Terror can deal direct damage to your opponent, and then that direct damage to your opponent will trigger our Incinerator, which can now deal damage to a player or planeswalker. So that's going to be the ideal top end. It's like, whoo, I got Terror and Chandra's Incinerator. I win, right? That's an alternative to Embercleave. Embercleave makes anything win you the game. Chandra's Incinerator and Terror of the Peaks will also win you the game. We've got Torbran as well, which is basically a win condition in on its own, just increasing our mass army to do lethal damage, because we should be going pretty wide with the deck. And then Tectonic Giant as well can just deal 3 damage whenever it attacks. So that's really good, right? For chip damages to your opponent. We have Slaying Fire that can deal direct damage. Bonecrusher Giant can deal direct damage if we so choose, right? And then the intervention, creating that X1 with trample and haste, just to play that on a turn to get through, or using it as removal. The serpent also has trample, which is really, really cool. So there's a lot of ways to deal damage to your opponent. The Phoenix has evasion through flying. The Godzilla can get trample, flying, menace, right? Lots of stuff like that. So he has the potential to grab evasion as well. We talked about the removal, Fire Prophecy, Omen, Shock, Scorching Dragonfire, Underworld Dreams, even the like the Sure Strike on your creatures and stuff. So it's a very well balanced deck, and ideally Embercleave on Anax as well, right? We all know this from Standard. And we have some draw engines that we should mention, right? Solemn Simulacrum helps us ramp when he dies, he draws. Tomb of Legends also helps us draw, which is really nice. Robber of the Rich is basically a draw engine from our opponent's deck as well. We have Chandra, which can help us draw. We'd already talked about the Caravanner, that can help us draw as well. So even Tectonic Giant can help us draw. So you can see that the deck is very balanced in the fact that we've got very nice early creatures. We've got very nice late game creatures. We have removal throughout, right? Starting at 1 all the way up to 3. And then we've got those draw engines as well. So little creatures, big creatures, removal, draw engines. You should be good as far as I'm concerned. And evasion on your creatures as well. The deck tech strategies for the Brawls get a little weird because there's just a million interactions within the deck. It's not like there's 4 of a kind. It's like this is your turn 1, this is your turn 2, this is your turn 3, and then you win on turn 4 ideally. So it's a little bit weird. I more or less just want to talk about the general things within the deck because I try to group cards together based on what they do. Like I group my removal, I group my draw engines, I group my small creatures, and I group my big creatures. And then I just always try to play from those groups on like my turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It doesn't necessarily what the card is that I'm playing from that group, but as long as I'm trying to stick to my game plan, which is early creatures, survive through removal, late game creatures, find your combo, win. Right? That's my general strategy. So I group all of those cards into one of those sections, and then I try to play the steps out that way, rather than turn 1 Llanowar Elf, turn 2 Paradise Druid, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit different than the individual cards, but the same game plans still apply, and you're still trying to follow that mana curve up, playing a 1-drop, playing a 2-drop, playing a 3-drop, playing like so on and so forth, right? So that was Mono Red Brawl deck, Subira Tulzidi Caravanner, the deck tech, the deck strategies. Before we get into the gameplay footage, I want to remind you guys I'm live on YouTube every morning, 6 a.m. Mountain Standard. At 7 a.m. we do go live on Twitch for 3 to 8 hours, and then we're back on YouTube again at 6 Mountain Standard PM as well. So we're here all day making Magic the Gathering content for you guys. Join our Discord as well. We've got a 500,000 gem giveaway triggering soon. You can read up on that there. With that all being said, I really appreciate your time and attention. Everybody going above and beyond on the Twitch, the Patreon, the YouTube, supporting me financially, making this increased workload possible. A huge thank you from not only myself, but the community who's been enjoying these videos as well, right? So we really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Enjoy today's gameplay footage, and we'll be back in a few minutes with our closing thoughts. Take care. You know, I absolutely love getting that free mulligan in Brawl. It just makes the play experience so friendly. We've got a little bit of removal, a little bit of creatures, early and mid, and then our big baddie. I'll allow it. We don't really need our deck list up for Brawl through our Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant. One of the greatest apps you can use within Magic the Gathering Arena to track not only your performance, but the decks that are being used within the game. Check it out. Link in the description below. We're going to hold on to this Omen here. Flash it in instant speed. Hold on to our Fire Prophecy as well. See what we come up against. Yeah, we'll just use the 2 damage here. Keeping it nice and efficient, 2 for 2. No wasted damage. Prophecy can remove something for 3, but let's go crazy about it. More field presence, please. Haste would be cool, but you know, I don't mind Vigilance either. Ooh, so we've got some straight up dwarf action here. Without a doubt. We just keep removing these or what? Let's go in for the kill, I guess. Hexproof right away, that's cool. Don't shoot there. So we didn't have to even use our removal. We could use some battle tactics, get a little first strike out, and you know, he's just not into it. Loving the land. Phoenix is pretty cool as well. The Bonder Prodigy with 2 mulligans, so you know exactly what he's going for. Just broken. Let's see if we can beat it. This is the best Brawl deck going around right now. And he doesn't get his cards to immediately win the game, so he concedes. What a world. 3 lands. Anax in an opening hand of Brawl with a Fervent Champion and a 2-drop Serpent. Wow. Let's do our best here. Soulseer is pretty cool. It can kill his God of Destiny, which he can replay for 5. So the cheap cost of it is like pretty beneficial in Brawl. The diminishing returns aren't so bad when, you know, 3 goes to 5. You can still play it a second time, maybe even a third time, right? Whereas if your commander costs 5 or 6 to replay that for 7 or 8, it's like, oof, might get that maybe, right? So I always like low converted mana cost commanders in Brawl. So you're just going for that devotion, it seems. Now, is it worth killing his god, or shall we just keep his devotion down by killing other things? Doesn't kill our serpent with that. Interesting. This is a great play. I really like this. Not only does it turn our serpent red, but the tokens transfer, and now he's 6/6 with flying. I guess we should have attacked with the 1/1 as well. Oops. A little bit of a misplay there, because he's not defending, right? Chip damage, and he actually is gaining life. I think this card should have seen more play, and maybe it will as we, you know, get into Zendikar Rising and all that jazz. It's a good card. I wish it seen more play. I think maybe now also that, you know, Spellbreaker and so many of the Riot creatures from Ravnica are rotating out of Standard, that maybe it will. Let's kill this draw engine. Takes the god off. Woof. 3 land again. Interesting. Start out with our Ginger Brute, 2-drop our Serpent. If we don't need removal, we can remove with Shock, I guess. So the Fires kind of kills our Brute, which isn't nice. Let's Serpent for 3, play our Robber for 2. That's what's really nice about scaling cards. If we take his command zone, nice. That hurts. He's playing Kinnan, so he, you know, he kind of deserves the hate. I'm gonna keep him from ramping. Does he block with the Robber? It's tempting. No, let's keep going for now. Should have played this intact with it too. Let's get the Summoning Sickness off our Serpent. Access to ramp through. It is instant speed. That could be fun. We're going to kill this Pixie with his own ramp through. Good game. Sorkinen. Whoops, a little bit late to the start here. We just been playing lands. Didn't miss anything too exciting. We'll get our Pyroling in play. Ooh. Nice, right? We give him like a huge props, like he just blew our minds with the Harbinger. Like we can't do anything, we don't attack. But, you know, we're gonna sure strike the heck out of it. I don't know. I don't know, Billy. What are you gonna do? He's got that Fountain, 2 life, just some lands and a Garrick. Kind of look at everything, so he's not focused on the fact that we just pulled out our Sure Strike. You know, it's 4/3 first strike. He's going to need a buff spell as well if he's trading with it. He doesn't. We get the removal. Loving it. Let's play our banner. For red. Bust in with the Forge. And we hit for 6. We could have maybe saved that and done it all after Torbrand hit the field, but why wait on a good thing? Cycling, interesting. Looking for that red land. I think he's kind of locked. I feel a little bit bad about it if I'm being honest. Really nice field. Getting Torbrand out so early in Brawl it's nice. He needs to remove it, or I think this might be game here soon. Cool if we got haste. Let's swing in and I guess we'll make this unblockable. He doesn't block and it's just pure destruction. Alright, we're late again. We're getting distracted today. Haunted Witness in play. You know, this Underworld Fires is actually pretty good. We can just Blazing Volley it too, maybe. Let's play defensive. Underworld Fires does get rid of like the 1/1, but it kills our guy too. So I kind of want to make him pull Exile on our champion. Okay. Easy decision now, right? Dealing with his creatures. Back in play with some more haste. He's at 29 with a defender now, though. And Moth. Sorry, that's not the Moth. That's a Johnny. Alright, okay. I mean, I guess that says right here.
Our true strength lies.
This is Johnny is the only way to make... Oh, he's going as well. He's an M20. I was gonna say, he's the only way to make tokens. Let's give our Brute flying. Kill this Johnny, please. Hopefully he landlocks and can't play it again. We're at 23, so it's not the end of the world. The Wanderer for an immediate exile.
Let's get started.
What a life to
The
live.
bigger they are,
Not in our grave. Phoenix Feather does not work anymore. Uh-oh. Right? Uh-oh. Take that draw. We need it. Well, I mean, we're gonna need a little bit more land, but that doesn't hurt. It's not really a hand I like to discard, but it could come in handy. Nope, never mind. Having our algorithm reset here. Since it doesn't trigger it, but this is power 4 greater. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. I guess let's just have him exile it. It gets the Wanderer low enough that it's not exiling our Incinerator, which, you know, maybe we can cleave or something. Let's try to play it out as best we can. This is a weird sitch, and the Johnny's back in play. Nice.
I am proud of all those who stand up to eat. My pride grows stronger.
time to meet your breaker.
Alright, Johnny is now got 2 little clones in the field. And we're very sad about this. We can play our Incinerator. He's got 32 life. We're so low ourselves. We need some form of life gain.
I am proud of those who walk beside me.
If he has any exile or removal, we're screwed. Flying a Johnny for 6/5 makes sense. Ooh, we're down to 6. He is lethal next turn. Let's pretend that Sure Strike will do it. Let's go for it. If only we had one more land, we could Sure Strike and Embercleave. And that wouldn't even help. This looks really nice. We're playing against Helioid though, so it's gonna be pretty risky, I think. No 1-drop, we get ours. That's actually kind of cool. We have 2-drop, 3-drop. Skipping 4-drop because we play the banner, going right to 5. That's the appropriate land to get there, so let's see if we can survive. We should be able to. We're gonna have to dodge exile effects from our opponent. Hopefully we can pull them out early. No, just right in with Helioid. Play the banner, hold up our shock. Pretty cool. Let's go all in. I hope he blocks the Pyroling, that would be sick. Just trading. Keeping the devotion down. Right, what else are we gonna do? Zapping a Johnny when he hits the battlefield? Like we should have held the shock for? Here's the concede button. Tear is incredibly oppressive. The tear damage triggers our pyroling as well. Gideon's Company is pretty cool. However, well, we could cast it. Let's just snag this, throw it to exile. Get some haste in play. That deals damage, buffs up our pyroling. And then just like an obscene amount of damage to our opponent as well. Very nice play through Tear, pyroling, Caravanner. We even have the Ox, right? Just gonna refill our hand. I'm pretty sure I've been late to every match here. Just getting right into it. It's maybe the curse of mono red is just go, 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 go. I've not even been able to start these recordings on time. Our opponent's ramping. He's got Yarok elements, which is pretty frightening if we're being honest. Play the Mutt. Probably we just start drawing off the top of his library, right? And we still get 1 damage through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we're even. So no drawing. We can double drop next turn though to fix that, hopefully. I would block the robber. I don't know why he took an extra damage there, but that's fine. It's only 1 damage. Oh, nice. He's dropping multiple lands on us. This is going to get really weird. He's got 3. Even if we double play, we're just matching him. Let's try to attack first. Let's get our Godzilla out. Yark can hit the field here. Well, maybe not, actually. So Zuza's only great if you're playing lots of lands. But he probably has Bolas's Citadel, right? That's what we need to be worried about. Okay, so he's got 2. Technically we could go down to 1. Take the draw. Just emptying our hand so the robber gets a little special treat here. We pull a Pride Malkin. Interesting. What is that doing tucked in there? We lose our Ginger Root. Could be worse. Our opponent down to 13. Yark has life gain. Stray draws 2 cards. Robber can't be blocked. Dog can't be blocked. Death Touch. That's nice. So we can defend against his Yarok if it attacks and then be unblockable on offense. Down to 9. Interesting. He's got lots of flyers. Death Touch, Lifelink. He's tapped. So let's get it with the Death Touch of our own. Bind Broker brings it from the graveyard to his hand. Nice. He conned us, boys. Alright, so you know where that's going. We're at 25 still. Discarding our hand here. And we're all unblockable. We take his Malkin, we get Scorpion, and then we draw 3 cards. After dealing 5 damage. 2 Lacrom. More lands. And the Incinerator. Okay. It's better than having an empty hand, right? Yarok is back in play. Nice. The Leafkin Druid has life gain, so does the Stray. And we're at 25. He's up to 10, not the greatest. Ooh. This is a hard riddle to solve at this point.
I am the fire of rebellion.
The Serpent has protection for multicolor, so it can block. We'll take our 4 damage, which he can just outpace. But hopefully we can kind of just like spread our threat on the field. The life gain keeps getting stronger. This is good. So we're getting hit for 5 on Chandra. She survives.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Too much action.
He's up to 11. All right. We're back to needing to use our Caravanner to draw. He's fully tapped though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got pretty close. Down to 2. We're at 14 still. We have a 6/6 defender. Should have kept our Stonecoil Serpent back though, probably, eh? He gains 7. Yeah. Not good. I think this is a pretty easy choice. Right? It's a lot of life gain for him, up to 15. Woof. We're in a losing scenario here. Well, if Banner might help. So 15, we got 6, 9. Oh, math, baby. Down to -2. That was a really nice Brawl match, actually. Alright, actually starting this match on time. Keeping 7. 3 land is absolutely ideal for me. A little bit of removal. And then we've got our Phoenix, which is amazing. Zenith Seeker has flying, shuts down our Phoenix pretty great. The nice thing is we can just remove it. Does he get nice draws? Does he whiff? Oh, yeah. Let's toss the land. Let's get our tomb in play. Take our attack. He's gonna play his Nightmare dude. We can just slay it with our intervention. He wants to pull our shenanigans out of our hand first. Let's try to bait with the first strike. What else do you do? Take our draw. I mean, I wanted to remove the Nightmare Shepherd, but if he's not going to play it... We could get our Mud out, reduce the cost of our Incinerator. He has 5, he could play his Zenith Seeker again, right? We can't go that big. The 7/7 with Flying Lifelink. We're not doing anything there. He did whiff this time. Let's still attack. Let's give ourselves first strike just for 1. Now we can play our Mutt. He really doesn't want to play that Nightmare Shepherd. 1, 2, 3 leaves us 1 only. And that first strike's so annoying. Bummer. We nuke the shepherd as soon as it comes in. Or let's do the, really, he's holding it back. I want rid of that shepherd. Okay, this is great. Right, we can buff it for 2 for 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we already have first strike, but... we should be exiling the Seraph of the Scales, right? Instead. I want to keep the Slaying Fire for the Shepherd, and I want to keep the Dragon Fire for the Scales. We've been just tossing removal. Let's tap for the damage. Let's get right to the Phoenix. It's our first decent amount of damage here for 5. We have our fire if he drops anything but the Skyblade on us. What do we even do? So we need to keep 3 up. We attack with the Grounder. And we keep the Phoenix to block. He's going to be so upset about all this removal. He gains a lot of life, but we get the removal. That's the key component here for us. We don't have any more left, though, is the thing. Nice. Well, that's not good. Ouch. A Draxeth? No way. This is just so bad for us here. Ouch. Woof. We can pretend that somehow we can win against Draxoth. There's gotta be a way to solve this equation. When it attacks, it can just kill all of our jazz. And we did, like, I think, a really good job of removing his creatures, but he just crushed us. Nice. Wow. That's a good game. Woof, he's back up to 37. Just absolute dominance through Angels, Demons, and Dragons. And Kalia, Zenith Seeker. Blessed be thy land draw. I mean, that's not a lot of... Actually, it's literally no creature interaction. So we're just building towards our Caravanner. Tulane, interesting. So we got a lot of draw going on here. I kind of like the Giant. That's cool for 4. Not so worried about 2 damage. We'll take it a few times. Let's match him. Solemn Simulacrum's a nice zap for our Chandra. Chilane hits soon for 4. How are we doing that? Our intervention. It's a nice body. Ooh, Lieutenant on Simulacrum. Of course he does. Yeah, nice. Dirty dog. Let's get our Chandra out right away.
Look, I just really like fire, okay?
Playing defensively now. Breaking Claws should be cool. Our intervention should keep Tulane in check for a second, at least. Ooh, 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 ooh. He's bouncing his Lieutenant? Oh, he bounces our Chandra. Interesting. But isn't that just, like, not good? We're gonna replay it and just immediately
Who's ready for some
slay your
hot-headed action?
Archmage. So our Arsonist out. Just a great chump blocker. Let's just chill. The Giant's just like a really cool blocker to clog up the field, right? Nice. The Great Hand is so sick for him. Right? It's just a continuous draw engine. A little bit of life gain, a little bit of ramp. Right? Oh, no, that's supposed to be their other plus.
Like I think this through.
Well, let's make the most of it. It actually wasn't that bad. I was just going to do damage to his person. Let's just clog up the field. We don't get to cast this, do we? No, so let's just throw it down for 1. Once it's gone, it's gone. We got lucky there. We lose our removal for his Tulane, though, which is annoying. And we don't really need these chump blockers so much. But I don't really want to trigger his Simulacrum again for him. So let's just hold up. Flying damage in for 2. Which he just regains back with his Henge. Which he didn't tap his Henge at the end phase there. So he lost 2 life. Banishing Light on Chandra. Okay, makes sense.
Fine. I'm
That's a
leaving.
bummer. And then he plays his own Planeswalker. That's a bummer as well.
Elemental
He's gonna make a creature with reach.
I love Ikoria.
Yarp.
Diversity is our
Good man.
greatest strength.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're gonna blasto that token. And we are gonna just buff this up, right? And yeah. Just kill that Vivian. Take it easy for now. Got him.
I didn't expect to be prey.
We got a nice field, even though he's got a really good presence for himself as well. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Return target creature you control to its owner's hand, which can be replayed with the henge. Oh no. That's aggressive. Oh my gosh. A Temeo on top. That's great too. What's he look for?
Let us see if
Does he
your
take back his
talents are
Vivian?
worth cataloging.
Always. Nice.
The storied past.
Okay, we get a
holds
turn
our
at least.
future.
Lovely. Unos. Player or Planeswalker is what it should say. Big game, and thanks to the Caravan, we're just able to replenish our full hand there to an already oppressive field state, so woof! Mono Red Brawl, Tulzidi Caravanner. You know, I think this is actually really good. No jokes, I'm having fun with this deck, and I'm getting pretty consistent wins with it as well. Maybe one of my best Brawl decks of M21. I'm going to go out and say it, I don't know, but I feel that way, so a great deck. I had a lot of fun with it. The draw in the red really supports more aggression, which is just what it needs, because sometimes you run out of power, so it's nice just to be able to refill the stockpiles of the utility that you need to slay your opponent. So, closing thoughts. I don't really have so much today. You know, I hope you enjoyed the video. A big thank you to everybody spending their time and attention with me here on the YouTube lives. I really appreciate it. Everybody on Twitch live as well. You guys are amazing. People supporting me through Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, the financial support through the membership programs, whatever you want to call them, has been incredible. I've been crushing out 2 videos a day for you guys as much as I can through these COVID times while I have the opportunity, right? And hopefully we can build this to a business where I might not have to go back to work and do this for you guys forever, right? So that would be amazing. And, you know, things are looking good. So as long as we can continue to crush it for the next couple months, I think it should be, or we should be well on our way. So for that, I really thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I hope you guys have a great day. And stay tuned. We're back with more Magic the Gathering Arena content soon. Make sure to download MTGA Assistant. Link in the description below. We also have an updated link tree for you guys. So all my links have now been consolidated, making it a little bit easier, less intimidating. What one do I click on? All right. So, yeah, no, do take care. Check it out. And thanks again. Peace.